And just look what we managed to capture in the box. Yes, that was Biddy and Miley actually mating. And yes, welcome back to the 2022 nesting season, and what an opening that was. Let's take another quick look at that. I've seen this behaviour out in the tree before, but never inside the box. And that will be tomorrow's egg fertilised. But just look, this is the rival female in again and bringing nesting material, and she really is starting to make herself at home. But today is the day that things actually come to blows with these two. Yes, today I believe Mindy, the rival female, really took on trying to take over this nest box. She was hopping in and staying on the nest cup like she is now, really saying that this is my nest box and nearly waiting for the other pair to come back. And eventually, of course, someone does. I believe this to be Miley popping his head in and out. He doesn't seem to really know what to do with himself. And Mindy, the rival female, is also displaying angrily towards him to not come in. This is as tense as it gets in the Bluetit world. These things can really turn out ugly sometimes. And even birds have been killed in such altercations. And indeed, eventually, Miley does come in. So thankfully that didn't come to blows, but let's take another quick look at what happened. Miley pops in and postures. He knows something's not right, and that is not Biddy. But thankfully, he quite passively gets her to leave the nest box. I believe if that was Biddy that came home and not Miley, things would have ended very, very differently. Miley wouldn't have wanted to come to blows in the nest box, as that wouldn't have been good for either bird. I believe one of the rival pair come in a little while later to have a nosy round again. And in just a little bit, the two females finally come face to face. It's a blink and you miss it situation, so let's take one more look at that. A few scratches to the face really lets them know what's what. Eventually Biddy comes back, but it still looks like there's some disagreements going on with the ownership of the nest box. And let's not forget, Biddy has eggs in this nest box, so it is well and truly hers. But I think eventually the rival pair finally get the message. And Biddy, I don't know if this altercation started this behaviour, but Biddy has started incubating. And there's still one more egg to be laid, as there was mating this morning, so there is another egg on the way. And we in fact see that being laid later on in this video. And speaking of eggs, Biddy finally graces us with a pretty nice view of those eggs. She's about to get up of those eggs. And just look, the fruits of all Biddy and Miley's labour, all their hopes of this nesting season. I believe there's 4 eggs in there when we're just not seeing the 4th. But thankfully, it's a great view that we've been waiting to see. And you will be thankful to know that the rest of the day really plays out a little bit calmer than how it started. The 22nd was a fairly busy day. First we had the mating in the box, then a potential nest takeover, a short scuffle, and indeed there's still an egg being laid coming up tomorrow morning in this video. And if you haven't already and that doesn't make you hit that subscribe button, well, I don't think anything will. And Biddy begins incubation. So There's still one more egg to be laid, and this does happen sometimes, and I think the fight with the rival pair brought this behaviour on, but she is starting to incubate those eggs, so she is initiating the life cycle in those eggs to begin. And indeed, with the mating that we seen in the box yesterday, we are able to now see a fertilised egg being laid the following day. What a privilege to see life of these little birds unfold in front of us. And if we look closely at Biddy, we can see that she's breathing quite heavily, and it looks like she is starting to push. And indeed, there she goes. We've seen that behaviour once before already, and that just seems to be the final push of that egg being laid. Let's hope that little egg hatches and manages to fledge. Wouldn't it be great if this is the year that Biddy raises her young successfully? 3 years in the making is what it would be, and I for one am certainly rooting for her. And with all that hard work done, she starts fixing up the nest just a little bit. She does this every so often. She'll just do a few twirls in the NESTBOX, pulling little bits of material in, seems to be weaving it together nearly, bringing it from out and then tucking it back in like you're seeing her do there now. And today we see Biddy has well and truly started her incubation. She nips out for a little bit of breakfast every so often, a little bit of food. She'll maybe hop out for a feather or two, maybe bring in a little bit of material. Miley will bring in a little bit of food, but for the rest of the time, she is sitting on that nest box and not budging. She will every so often turn those eggs, and this will help evenly distribute the heat among those eggs. And we get another look at the eggs there, and you can see that there's 3 in sight, but you can imagine by the way they're sitting that there must be another 1 or 2 at least underneath them. So I'm guessing there's 5, maybe 6 eggs in that nest. I personally love the side view nest boxes like this one, but it does have one minor flaw. You don't see right into the nest cups, and it leaves a little bit of a waiting game to see how many chicks and how many eggs are there. And I forgot to mention that you may have noticed that we skipped 2 days. Well, unfortunately, 2 days of footage seem to have just disappeared. The app this year was really less than satisfactory. Maybe it was because of the live streaming, I don't know. So there are some days missing from our story, but I still have a good 90% of the story and I don't miss anything major. And you'll be thankful to know that in the next video, I'm thinking of putting all the incubation into one video, as she does not a lot more than this, sitting there peacefully incubating her eggs. And if you've enjoyed this video, please do consider subscribing. It means a lot to me. And we'll see you again. Bye bye.